Neurosurgeon taking the lead in two separate polls conducted in Iowa. Carson up nearly 10 points on Trump in today's Bloomberg Des Moines Register survey as well. Trump wading into more controversy yesterday, meanwhile, after retweeting a message critical of Iowa voters, a mishap that he has since blamed on a campaign intern. I want to bring in former Massachusetts Senator and Fox News contributor Scott Brown. Scott, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, Senator.
Thank you. Good to be on.
You knew something was going to go wrong with Donald Trump's tweeting, and here he has made a mistake criticizing Iowa voters by retweeting something, and now he's in hot water there.
Well, I spoke to Donald the other day, actually, about the campaign. And listen, I said it's not over. This is a long, long road. And you have the primaries in Iowa and New Hampshire coming up. And you want to avoid the death by 1,000 cuts type of scenario. So this issue in particular, something may or may not have happened with a campaign worker. It's happened to everybody. It's happened to me. It happens to everybody. The question is, the voters in Iowa are very, very proud. My wife's family's from there. She was born there, and when you start hitting away and attacking their character, they kind of turn. The fact that Carson's up, it's not a surprise in that he's spending a tremendous amount of time doing a lot of hands-on reaching out to the voters of Iowa. So it's not over, but it's a good indicator.
Yeah, I mean, we should point out that obviously he tweeted out again that it was a mistake from an intern on the campaign. All right, let me switch gears. What did you think about Hillary yesterday? Did she hurt or help herself with that marathon testimony? A pretty good debate on this morning's show in terms of what happened.
Yeah, I've been listening to your show, and I agree with you. Here's the situation. I participated in 2 or 3 of those hearings, and we were always left with the fact that it didn't appear that she was being honest. You couldn't get anything out of her. It was like pulling teeth just to get a straight answer, and this is when obviously the tragedy initially happened. That being said, had those hearings, had she been more honest, I think, and forthright in those hearings, we wouldn't be having this hearing now. And I think it's appropriate, number one, for Congress to hold them. I think it's appropriate, number two, to have the families understand what happened, and the fact that you now have the emails from the ambassador, I think, warrant this new hearing. Now, did she do good or bad? I thought it was kind of a wash. I thought she showed, obviously, stamina. Then she showed the fact that she kept her cool versus the other hearing that she participated in. But what it showed the American people also is that Congress is just so dysfunctional, and there's a reason why people just don't like them. They don't like each other, and as a result, we don't like them. And so I'm hopeful that Congressman Ryan can pull that together and really help the House reestablish that camaraderie and that strength. And Biden was right. You know, Biden was right. We got to get past this and start focusing on our country.
Yeah, for sure. Dagen.
Not in an election year, we don't, Senator. But in terms of raising the debt ceiling and the fight there, you still have members within the Freedom Caucus and other Republicans who are agitating. So they want serious spending cuts in order to raise the debt ceiling. And again, you're playing with fire in terms of your financial markets if you do that.
Well, Dagen, I agree. You should be cutting. Why is it every 6 months, give or take, we're raising the debt ceiling? How about actually zeroing in? And I've been advocating that when I was there, and still talk about it with former colleagues. Hey, listen, get in there and really just hammer it out. You know, do that streamline, that consolidating, do everything you need to do before you keep asking American taxpayers for more and more of their money. It's common sense, Dagen, and they're not doing it, and that's what the American people are so frustrated about.
Well, they're not asking for taxpayer money. They're asking people to loan the federal government money, and to a large extent, that's people overseas. That's not Americans.
Well, we're ultimately paying for it. With respect, we pay for it through our debt servicing, and the fact that it just keeps increasing over and over and over, up and up and up. It's getting a little ridiculous. So I think it's appropriate to ask for those cuts, providing that they're strategic and they can be warranted. But they're doing nothing to address our debt and deficit except for sequester.
Which is why I think having Paul Ryan in that job will just set a different tone. And people will believe that actually we will not have these kinds of crises. But let me ask you about your trip. You just returned from a big trip to China. What did you learn?
I'll tell you what, talk about an economy on steroids when it comes to economic growth. We were in Shanghai, and just along the river, in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, I saw 100 barges and ferries just ferrying goods up and down that river. The building is out of sight. When people say, well, there are a lot of empty cities, well, yes, that's called prior planning, because they're expecting 300 million more people coming in from the agrarian parts of the country into those cities, ready-made cities. Here you go. Here's where you live, and here are the keys. A tremendous amount of capitalism. It was off the charts. Both my wife and I were shocked at how, you have the Fendi, the Gucci's, the BMWs, the Aston Martins, everything's right there, and there's a tremendous amount of money being made, millionaires and billionaires, and also a middle class that's dying to, number one, get their money out of the country, and also get their kids out of the country, because the pollution is off the charts. And when they talk about us having to do things with respect, the China needs to get their pollution issues under control before we do any more to address that issue. So
yeah,
it was very,
sure.
very exciting and fascinating.
I mean, it is exciting to see the vibrancy of that economy, but the air quality is so bad, Senator. You felt it on the ground, right?
The minute you walk out,
yeah.
It smelled like you were. I go out running. It's like running in an ashtray. I had to go back in, and we were blessed that there was a lot of wind, so it took it out, especially in Beijing and Shanghai for a couple of days. But there are times you walk out, you go. I have pictures. I'll show you when we see each other next week. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is, because, I mean, obviously they are the producers of products to the world, so all of those factories are spewing out all that garbage and pollution, and it's yeah. solidly in the air. So, Senator, we'll see you when you're back on set. Yeah, go ahead. Final word, Senator.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. No, it's funny. When they talk about, well, the economy in China is slowing down, it's kicking our butt. Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're slowing down, it's still like 5% bigger and better than ours. And that's frustrating. We got to address that, or we're going to be second pretty soon.
Absolutely right. The latest growth numbers out of China, 6.9% growth. And, of course, we're in a 2% grower here. But that's a bigger conversation than that. We know it's not just about those top-line numbers. Senator, we'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Senator Scott Brown joining us there. Straight ahead.